ॐ ॐ ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। ॐ श्रीकृष्णपरमात्मने नमः। अथ पञ्चमोऽध्यायः। अर्जुन उवाच सन्न्यासं कर्मणां कृष्ण पुनर्योगं च शंससि यच्छ्रेय एतयोरेकं तन्मे ब्रूहि सुनिश्चितम्। श्रीभगवानुवाच सन्न्यासकर्मयोगस्य निःश्रेयसकरावुभौ तयोस्तु कर्मसन्न्यासात् कर्मयोगो विशिष्यते। ज्ञेयः नित्यसन्न्यासी यो न द्वेष्टि न काङ्क्षति निर्द्वन्द्वो हि महाबाहो सुखं बन्धात् प्रमुच्यते। साङ्ख्ययोगौ पृथक् बालाः प्रवदन्ति न पण्डिताः एकमप्यास्थितः सम्यगुभयोर्विन्दते फलम् यत्सा यत्साङ्ख्यै प्राप्यते स्थानं तद्योगैरपि गम्यते। एकं साङ्ख्यं च योगं च यः पश्यति स पश्यति सन्न्यासस्तु महाबाहो दुःखमाप्तुमयो गतः योगयुक्तो मुनिर्ब्रह्म न चिरेणाधिगच्छति योगयुक्तो विशुद्धात्मा विजितात्मा जितेन्द्रियः सर्वभूतात्मभूतात्मा कुर्वन्नपि न लिप्यते नैव किञ्चित् करोमीति युक्तो मन्येत तत्त्ववित् पश्यन् शृण्वन् स्पृशन् जिघ्रन् अश्नन् गच्छन् स्वपन् स्वशन् प्रलपन् विसृजन् गृह्णन् उन्मिषन् निमिषन्नपि इन्द्रियाणीन्द्रियार्थेषु वर्तन्त इति धारयन् ब्रह्मण्याधाय कर्माणि सङ्गं त्यक्त्वा करोति यः लिप्यते न स पापेन पद्मपत्रमिवाम्भसा कायेन मनसा बुद्ध्या केवलैरिन्द्रियैरपि योगिनः कर्म कुर्वन्ति सङ्गं त्यक्त्वात्मशुद्धये युक्तः कर्मफलं त्यक्त्वा शान्तिमाप्नोति नैष्ठिकीम् अयुक्तः कामकारेण फले सक्तो निबध्यते सर्वकर्माणि मनसा सर्वकर्माणि मनसा सन्न्यस्यास्ते सुखं वशी नवद्वारे पुरे देहि नैव कुर्वन्न कारयन् न कर्तृत्वं न कर्माणि लोकस्य सृजति प्रभुः न कर्मफलसंयोगं स्वभावस्तु प्रवर्तते नादत्ते कस्यचित् पापं न चैव सुकृतं विभुः अज्ञानेनावृतं ज्ञानं तेन मुह्यन्ति जन्तवः ज्ञानेन तु तत् ज्ञानेन तु तदज्ञानं येषां नाशितमात्मनः तेषामादित्यवत् ज्ञानं प्रकाशयति तत्परम् तद्बुद्धयः तदात्मानः तन्निष्ठास्तत्परायणाः गच्छन्त्य पुनरावृत्तिं ज्ञाननिर्धूतकल्मषाः विद्याविनयसम्पन्ने ब्राह्मणे गविहस्तिनि शुनि चैव श्वपाके च पण्डिताः समदर्शिनः इहैव तैर्जितः सर्गो येषां साम्ये स्थितं मनः निर्दोषं हि समं ब्रह्म तस्माद् ब्रह्मणि ते स्थिताः न प्रहृषेत् प्रियं प्राप्य नोद्विजेत् प्राप्य चाप्रियम् स्थिरबुद्धिरसम्मूढो ब्रह्मविद् ब्रह्मणि स्थितः बाह्यस्पर्शेष्वसक्तात्मा विन्द्यात्मनि यत्सुखम् बाह्यस्पर्शेष्वसक्तात्मा विन्दत्यात्मनि यत्सुखम् स ब्रह्मयोगयुक्तात्मा सुखम् अक्षयमश्नुते ये हि संस्पर्शजा भोगा दुःखयोनय एव ते आद्यन्तवन्तः कौन्तेय न तेषु रमते बुधः शक्नोति हैव यः सोढुं प्राक्शरीरविमोक्षणात् कामक्रोधोद्भवं वेगं स युक्तः स सुखी नरः योऽन्तः सुखोऽन्तरारामस्तथान्तर्ज्योतिरेव यः स योगी ब्रह्मनिर्वाणं ब्रह्मभूतोऽधिगच्छति ॐ तत्सत् Jai Gurudev. Dr. Mara, if I share the meaning for
Last,
the
you want me to read or you want to read the whole thing?
last few shlokas, I will just share the screen, the meaning of last few shlokas.
Okay. That's why I was waiting. Otherwise, I would have shared my screen.
Yeah, I know, dear. Yeah.
Thanks.
We are in 23rd shloka, right? So you can read last few shlokas as per your convenience, Dr. Mara, and then we can start with the chapter 5, 23rd shloka. Are you able to see the screen, Dr. Mara? You are on mute, Dr. Mara.
Okay. Sorry.
Are you okay to read? Are you okay to read?
I am fine. It's just that too much running around today. The cycle of
Yeah,
birth.
then,
Yeah, it's fine.
yeah,
No
otherwise
problem.
I will read. Yeah, are you sure? Otherwise you
Yeah,
can carry
if
on
I am
afterwards.
done, then I would, yeah, you can continue. Like wise people are indeed those who see the same Brahman in a Brahmana who is endowed with knowledge and humility, in a cow, in an elephant, in a dog, and even in a dog eater. The cycle of birth and death, samsara, is won over by those whose mind is rooted in the same, that is Brahman, here itself in this life. Since Brahman, that is free from any defect, is always the same, they, the wise people, abide in Brahman. The one who knows Brahman, who is established in Brahman, whose knowledge is firm, and who is free from delusion, does not rejoice over gaining that which is desirable, and does not resent gaining that which is undesirable. The one whose mind is not attached to the external sense objects that contact the same organs gains that happiness, fullness which is one in oneself. One whose mind is endowed with the knowledge of Brahman gains that happiness that does not wax and wane. Because those enjoyments that are born of contact between the sense organs and desirable objects are the sources of pain alone and have a beginning and an end. O son of Kunti, the wise person does not revel in them. The one who is able to master the force born of anger and desire here in this world before release from the body is a karma yogi. That person indeed is a happy, full, like happy person, full person. I'll read this again. The one who is able to master the force born of anger and desire here in this world before release from the body is a karma yogi. That person indeed is a happy, full person. 24 is the one whose fulfillment is in oneself, the one who revels in oneself, the one whose mind is awake to oneself. That wise person alone, whose self is Brahman, gains freedom, which is Brahman. Sages whose impurities have been destroyed, whose doubts have been resolved, who have self mastery, and who are happily engaged in the good of all beings gain liberation. Okay, so give me a few minutes. I'm going to share my screen and then we'll go from there. Can you see well now? Okay.
Yes, Dr. Mara, very
Good.
well.
Okay. So I know we left it somewhere in the middle when we were reading this
Yeah,
20 self-massive problems to be addressed or something like that.
yeah, we can repeat. I think it was very nice yesterday, no?
Reading. Mhm.
Wherever you feel comfortable, you can.
No, no, yeah, we should read from the beginning only because uh, so this is verse number 23, right? So therefore, I'll read the line before this. Therefore, extra effort is required in order to bring out an antidote for karma, as Krishna infers in the next verse. I know you read the sloka already, so I'm going to. Can you read one more time? That way we.
Yeah, yeah. शक्नोति हैव यः सोढुं प्राक्शरीरविमोक्षणात् कामक्रोधोद्भवं वेगं स युक्तः स सुखी नरः.
Yaha, the one who prak sarira vimokshanat, before release from the body, kama krodha udbhavam, born of anger and desire, vegam force, iha eva, here itself in this world, sodum, sodum is to endure, to master. Saknoti is able. Saha, he or she. Yuktaha is karma yogi. Saha, he or she. Sukhi naraha is a happy person. Yaha prag sarira vimokshanat kama krodha udbhavam vegam iha eva sodum शक्नोति सः युक्तः सः Sukhi Naraha. The one who is able to master the force born of anger and desire here in this world before release from the body is a karma yogi. He or she indeed is a happy person. Right? So this is the answer to the question. What is the antidote for the karma? So that antidote is that force you mastering the force born of anger and desire before the release from the body. So that's the antidote. He is the happy person. So we'll go on to the verse. Tatparyam. Now finished. So here Krishna is saying that you do not control kama and krodha, desire and anger. So you're not controlling it. Here Krishna is saying that you do not control kama and krodha, desire and anger. Rather, you knock off the kama krodha udbhavam vegam, the force born of kama and krodha. First, you should know how to take care of the force, vega. Then you can take care of the desire, anger, and the pain that become the cause for the force, for that force. Behind every pain, there is an expectation. An unfulfilled expectation leads to anger. As we have seen, Kama and Krodha have a certain sting, and by taking care of the force born of them, you remove their sting. Thus, one has to pay attention to Kama and Krodha. So, I'm going to read each paragraph twice, okay, so that we understand and move forward. Here, Krishna is saying that you do not control kama and krodha, desire and anger. Rather, you knock off the kama, krodha, udbhavam, vegam, the force born of kama and krodha. The first, you should know how to take care of the force, vega. Then you can take care of the desire, anger, and the pain that become the cause of that force. Behind every pain, there is an expectation. An unfulfilled expectation leads to anger, as we have seen, right? So, behind every pain, there is an expectation. Unfulfilled expectation leads to anger, as we have seen. Kama and Krodha have a certain sting, and by taking care of the force born of them, you remove their sting. Thus, one has to pay attention to Kama and Krodha. The entire psychology of the Gita is in terms of ragas and dveshas, the management of one's likes and dislikes. By managing one's likes and dislikes, a normal person can overcome all the psychological problems that he or she may have. Such problems are natural. The one is angry is normal, that one has desires is normal, that one is subject to pain is also normal. This normal psychology is dealt with by the Gita in terms of likes and dislikes. So, again, this paragraph. The entire psychology of the Gita is in terms of ragas and dveshas, the management of one's likes and dislikes. By managing one's likes and dislikes, a normal person can overcome all the psychological problems that he or she may have. Such problems are natural. One is angry is normal, that one has desires is normal, that one is subject to pain is also normal. This normal psychology is dealt with by the Gita in terms of likes and dislikes. Kama, desire, is a common word for both raga and dvesha. Kama is a purely a want. The thought process So again, the karma is purely a want, not need based. Here, that want to remind you about that. Karma is a desire is a common word for both raga and dvesha. Karma is purely a want. The thought process through which you desire an object, an end is called karma. The desire can be either to gain something, raga, or to avoid something, dvesha, to retain something gained, or to get rid of something that one already has. This karma produces a certain force, certain symptoms, which are indicative of the virulence of desire. If these symptoms were not there, you would not know whether the karma was a binding desire or a non binding desire. Okay, this karma produces a certain force, certain symptoms, which are indicative of the virulence of desire. If these symptoms were not there, you would not know whether the karma was a binding desire or a non binding desire. Okay. If a person has a desire that is not fulfilled and he or she does not get upset in the process, then that the desire is not a binding desire. If we are not dealing with the non-binding desires here, so if a person has a desire that is not fulfilled and he or she does not get upset in the process, then that desire is not a binding desire. We are not dealing with the non-binding desires here. We are dealing only with those that produce a force, vega. This vega is the outcome of desire and is something that indicates the virulence or the intensity of the karma as well as the krodha, the anger that results if the desire is not fulfilled. The vega then described here by the expression kama krodha udbhavam vegam, the force that is released by or born of kama and krodha is the ultimate object to be mastered. Another important expression used in this verse is prak sarira vimokshanat. Prak means before, vimokshana means release, and sarira is the physical body. So prak sharira vimokshanat. Therefore, the expression means before release from the physical body. Okay, prak means before, vimokshana is a release. So before release from the physical body. Before one dies away, then one is able to master. Sodhum Chaknoti. One is able to master this force born of Kama and Krodha. Krishna mentioned this for two reasons. First one being that if a person is able to accomplish this before he or she dies, then the person is a mature human being, Nara. And because he or she is mature, having mastered his or her own mind, the person is happy, Saka Sukhi. So, if he masters before the person dies, that he is a mature human being, Nara, and because he is or she is mature, having mastered his or her own mind, the person is happy, Saha Sukhi. So, do you want me to read this again or should we move forward? Okay.
Yeah, we can have some manana and then we can move forward if someone wants to repeat because this is very, very
Yeah, I know
fundamental.
verse
Hmm.
also, and we have to understand what this Kama Krodha Udbhavam Vegam. Vegam
Hmm.
force, like I was
Yes.
remember the first line itself, it's not about controlling your anger and desire. It's about mastering this force of born of anger and sorry, the desire and the anger, which means the force is worse than this having this desire. Again, this desire is want based, like a need rather than a need based, which is contrast to the karma yogi who does what is need to be done. Here, how that's going to cause that thing, right? So it's not about
Hmm.
controlling the common krodha. It is knocking off that force that born of kama and krodha. So what they mean by force here, meaning um, if somebody wants to accomplish something, right? So they expect the result to be fulfilled their desire. If they didn't fulfill the desire, then that person going to get krodha, which is anger. When that anger would be is proportionate to how much desire they had in terms of this to be that desired result to be fulfilled, right? So if there somebody who wants very badly something, if they didn't get it, then they will be very upset, right? So that's how I understand this force meaning. It's like so somebody who is a little upset versus more upset, or little happy versus extremely happy, like that kind of that's what I think that's born the force born of this this desire and anger. So you have to master that force. Looks like you're not either get elated or like the previous verse where we read you don't get elated because the desirable things happening, and you don't get depressed because of undesirable situation is happening. So either way you are kind of centered, um, whether desirable undesirable things, then that the mastery of that desires, raga and dveshas. So again, they talk about what is Gita is about. This whole psychology of Gita is in terms of ragas and dveshas only. So this word karma represents the raga and dveshas both. So again, what kind of raga and dveshas they are talking about here? That's one is binding desire, that somebody who's attached to it, not about the non-binding desires. So they can, by managing one's likes and dislikes, a normal person overcome all psychological problems. So that's normal. But then again, when they're not purely want based and they want the raga and dvesha, it produces a force, the indicative of the virulence of the desire. Virulence means like more of how strong the desire is. To the extent they do unethical stuff, all kinds of stuff, however, whatever, they don't go in the dharmic way, it looks like if they can go in any way, they would do, anything to get it. So that is not what we are talking about, right? Mostly. So that's the thing about karma and krodha.
Very beautifully explained, Dr. Mara. Yeah, that is, there are people, no, who do heinous acts under the
Because of
name of their
the name of,
fulfilling their desires.
yeah,
Mhm.
the whole world is seeing a lot of this,
Hmm.
right? Like somebody who wants to make money, they cheat all these normal innocent people, common people. They adulterate this food, because of that the children, everybody get Um,
Yeah, even the last there was one case where in children's intravenous also they had done adulteration.
yeah, so
And
much, like medication.
milk powder also, children's infant milk powder
I
also. So
see
so
about,
I mean people do not see that boundary.
yeah,
They
and then,
become blind in their own
right.
selfishness. Mhm.
Also, I feel
We
that
have,
when we in the environment wise, how conscious we should be in, like, not dump all the waste in the environment. Yesterday or day before, I was watching some, like, the like kind of ad, I think, all these plastics are thrown in the water, in the ocean, how these animals, or some reels, I think, the fish, everything dies because by swallowing that plastic stuff. And so the ecology of the environment is all affected because of that. I mean, we don't even get proper water if that's going to, with all the plastics and the waste we dump everywhere. uh, so again, I think about myself, like when I go to the store, I don't want to pick up the plastic bags to put the vegetables.
yeah, that sensitivity is very, very essential now.
But this,
Otherwise, I mean, earlier it was not that
yeah, and then we have to throw everything in
bad,
the
but
recycling bin rather than everything. You really have to be conscious about every little thing we are doing, to consider other people as well as ourselves. Uh, anyway, so that's how I kind of think this what they force, so how we control the force of this karma.
yeah, the word Vega is very important because
Mm,
it becomes then voluntary action turns into non-voluntary because we are so much conditioned to
mm,
the anger when we do not get, as Brahmaraji always says, no, she's a perfectionist, and when the things that don't happen as per the expectation, then it arises the anger.
right.
And yeah, so I mean, small, small things, but they are so very important. And
Mm,
raga, dvesha, they are like hidden inside. We don't even realize that because of that, it has happened.
right. Again,
Hmm.
desires are not something to be erased, right? I mean, the desire is going to be there, but we are talking about the binding desires that has to be looked at. So
Hmm.
we do the
That's
non.
why knocked off. Swamiji has used the word knocked off.
Yeah, knock off that binding
Hmm.
layers. And so when you do that, hopefully we don't go into that, we don't go and have this force built into us, like when you
Hmm.
want to, you want a little bit, then once you get it, you want more, right? Then that
Hmm.
keeps building up. The same, that's what's the force. I feel that it builds up that desire, like
Hmm.
the
That is, there is a shloka, no, that dhyayato vishayan pumsa sangat se shupajayate
yeah, yeah,
sangat sanjayate kama kama krodho bijayate.
right,
It is like a chain action.
right.
Hmm.
So that the guy eventually spiral down to that vinashyati, right? It kind of destroy ourselves. That's what that is. But anyway, then the expression of the prak sharira vimokshana. So once you, the what is need to be mastered here, that kama krodha udbhavam vegam. That is what that object to be, the ultimate object to be mastered. So the force of the kama and krodha, that what need to be mastered. Once you master that, what happens? If you master that before release from the from this physical body, that prag sarira vimokshanat, you're sakasuki, you're be a happy person. And that's if one before they die, they get sodum saknoti sakasuki. So that's about that first line, I think. If anyone wants any explanation, or you want to go ahead and you want to say anything. Lalaji, Dr. Savita.
I was thinking the Shaddaripus,
Mm.
that all Shaddaripus, Kama, Krodha, all Mada, Matsara, again, all originating from the Raga Dveshas only.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's why
Kama.
they're saying this whole Gita is the psychology of
Mhm.
Ragadvesha.
The control Raga Dveshas. That Vega is the Raga Dvesha only.
Yeah, it's based on all about the likes and dislikes. Like
Yes.
you don't like that. Like, that boils down to that one leads to the other, like you talked about jealousy, anger, jealousy, and the ahankara, all that matsarya and
But
what.
this liking and not liking, this also comes from where? Means our mind is such a, means even if we want, we will not like or dislike or means correct. Acceptance is the key. Okay, correct. Thank you.
The desires that comes what even with the previous impressions that we get,
Mm.
uh, all this likes and dislikes.
Three pattern. Yes, day before when we were reading, no,
Mm.
three origins of Ragadvesha they discuss. One is prarabh, means whatever the impressions you have from the past life, and other two were what I am not remembering that.
uh,
Okay.
I
Mm,
know it will come. Hopefully, we'll
mm,
find it out.
mm, mm. Thank you. Thank you.
The definition of adulthood. It seems to be that human life is divided into two activities. One is to gather all sorts of nonsense as a child, and the other is to learn how to manage them all. Somewhere along the way, you are able to realize that what you have had gathered as a child has nothing to do with and what you are now. Only the person who realizes this and then addresses the problems that arise can be called Nara. Until then, the person is still a child. So, this definition of adulthood is divided into two activities. One is to gather all sorts of nonsense as a child, and other is to learn how to manage them all. Somewhere along the way, you are able to realize that what you had gathered as a child has nothing to do with what you are now. Only the person who realizes this and then addresses the problems that arise can be called Nara. Until then, the person is still a child. Therefore, I would say that if a person is able to master the force born of desire and anger, he or she has made it as an adult human being. So, therefore, I would say that if a person is able to master the force born of desire and anger, he or she has made it as an adult human being. Okay. I would say that he is a Sukhi and also a Karma Yogi because to master the Vega of Kama Krodha requires a certain attitude. Maturity also implies expressing one's free will in its highest form, meaning that one can voluntarily appreciate and offer prayer. Prayer and prayerful attitude are the expressions of mature will. In fact, they are based on will alone. No one is driven to prayer. You are driven to swear, to cry, and to do varieties of things, but you can never be driven to prayer. Even if one prays in a moment of distress, the will is expressing in its highest form. In the act of prayer, you do not see the one to whom you pray. Ishvara is nowhere around. All you see are the contending forces that you have to deal with. Therefore, if in the process of living a person is able to appreciate an Ishvara and offer a prayer to him, that person becomes a karma yogi. Without this, the kama, krodha, udbhavam, vegam is not easy to master. This particular conversion, as it were, this particular religious conversion, as it were, has to take place in the person and is what is implied here by the word yukta, meaning yogi. And this karma yogi, this mature person who is able to master the force born of desire and anger, is a happy person. Sasuki naraha. Sas. Okay, Sasuki naraha. So, and last line I'll read this. And this karma yogi, this mature person who is able to master the force born of desire and anger, is a happy person. So, we read this earlier. Uh, Sukhi Naraha, like here Saha Sukhi. Now he saw Sukhi Naraha. So this is about adulthood. So they talk about in adulthood two types of activities. One is as a child, we collect lot of things, right, as a child. But then it may not be needed as you grow up. Uh, but then the other hand, that person let go of that the childhood collection of whatever that is in their mind. Let go, so yeah, the other is to learn how to manage them all, whatever we collected as a child. And the realizing that whatever you gathered as a child is nothing to do with your adulthood. So then realizing that part itself, addressing the problems arises that arise from that child. If you hold on to your childhood thinking, you are not enough matured enough. Even though you became an adult, you're not behaving like an adult. Because of that childhood mentality. So then it becomes hard for them to manage this force. But if somebody who knows how to manage that childhood uh, in that person, and they are an adult now, so then they are become a karma yogi. So they are able to master this vega of kama krodha. Yesterday we talked about the child crying about a toy or something. That's a child thing. But then when you become adult, you cannot be crying about if you don't get something. In the sense, like silly thing like that, like a candy or you know, or some that was what Scott talked about here. The maturity is based on um, that based on that free will is discussed here. With the free will, you do that action with a prayerful attitude, or having the prayer or prayerful attitude they talk about here. That causes this uh, that you appreciate that Ishvara, that and then you become a karma yogi who can master this kama krodha. And I may not put it the word correctly here, but uh, basically somebody who is a karma yogi who is able to master the this force born of desire and anger because he has that prayerful attitude.
Maturity also, the maturity means
This is
maturity and prayer. Hmm. Both.
free will
Hmm.
because using the free will that that they let go of that unwanted things in your mind, right? As a child, you probably grew up with certain things, and but then you don't behave like a 10-year-old when you're like a 50-year-old, right? Some people are so stubborn, they hold on to their things and
Hmm.
they let go of their things they collected from old days, But what are you going to do if you haven't used for 50 years? What is that going to do? Like he say, for example, if you have a teddy bear that you in your child you had it all the time, and people get attached to it, and then after when they become a teenager, they're still holding on to it, and then when they are 30-year-old, they're still holding on to it. That doesn't sound right,
We have
right?
to grow out of the objects also,
Right.
objects and situations, events, everything.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we keep hold on to that things or the situation. We keep that in mind only.
Right, those objects is something basically we don't want in in the first place. That's what this sensory. They talked about it in the previous verses, right? When you hold on to this sense organs attached to this sense objects, then um, you develop you may get temporary relief, but then again, that's only anitya. Nothing is going to last forever. Only as long as you're exposed to it, it's there, that pleasure is there, after which it's not going to be there.
Just a different diversion. It is not related to the topic we are discussing. But as you grow old, this childishness I
Mm.
have observed in my own parents, in my own in laws, it comes back. They behave very kiddishly. They want to hold on to things, they want to hold on to place, they want to hold on to the things which we feel such an immature. This is what, like, it is my own observation. So, do you all think so as the
Yes,
person
yes,
is
same
growing?
here at my home also. But now, after reading this, we have to do such a sadhana or tapas like this. The
I
point
feel
is,
compassion, I
uh,
laugh and I feel so,
but
and
for
I
us,
don't,
when we grow old, we should not do like this
we should not do like that.
because
Exactly.
studying vairagya and abhyasa, this may help us in our old
Yeah.
age.
Yeah.
I was also
Yeah.
wondering कि ये राग द्वेष
You know,
आते इधर से कैसे इसको एक्सेप्ट करना है और ये लॉन्ग टर्म कैसे बना रहेगा क्योंकि ये तो पढ़ते
I
हैं तो रहता है तब तक फिर बाद में क्या
Yeah, when we are making prasad some important days, and my father-in-law, he loves puri so much, he cannot resist to have it. when when we are making that time only, and he likes hot puris
Mm.
immediately.
So, uh,
and that
So
elevates
the
their mood also they become so happy also na that also
yeah.
my mom.
So my mother-in-law used to say, my father-in-law's name is Jagdish. So he said, I we have to offer first to this Jagdish, then the other Jagdish.
Right, exactly. Normally you try to give the food to the children, right? In the beginning, my mom, because they are like childlike, everything made had to be shown to her, or she had to have it first, or given first to her. So that is something, I don't know, as you're getting older, like when they're not able to kind of come off their daily activities, like their activities are daily kind of going down. They're limited to just getting up, eating and sleeping, that kind of activity. Then they become child only, they become like a child,
Yeah,
which
this
is
Vega is very active. I mean, it becomes prominent. This force, what
but
we read just.
who has this knowledge, like say, for example, we've been reading this time after time, hopefully will prepare our mind in the sense, I mean, we may need some help to take care of ourselves, but our we are not probably don't want to hold on to things. Like for example, my mother-in-law said, this house we built with so much pain and hardship, so you cannot sell this house. See, we are not going to be attached to something like this, right? When they say something like that, when you're not able to go and live there, what are we going to do? So if we are sit in the rock and like really cornered like that, and so some of these things, people have to have better understanding. Even my mom, waited until last minute to give the writing the land and all this. Whoever was there, and my children, two of the siblings got the in their name. But then it has to be for other, we are eight of us in our house. So how it's going to go to everybody? So that kind of thing, then it causes a lot of conflicts within the family.
It
And
is very, very serious topic, Dr. Mara. Right now, it is burning and it is, I mean, the real thoughtfulness should come here
yeah,
because so many Raymond's example you have seen, no, Dr. Mara?
yeah,
Raymond's people.
mm,
Yeah, so people are now insecure, That's why
yeah. So anyway, so that's why our part is going to be much clearer. Like we're going to say, okay, this is what we're going to have, and as long as we live after this, their kids, what they're going to have, and that's how we should be. Not going to hold on to my clothes, my thing, my tumbler, and things like that. we,
Maya, Maya
very
ka
true.
prabhav.
Yeah.
nothing
With
exists.
the blessing of Gurudev, I think we need
Yeah,
that we
yeah,
get rid of these all ragas. Mm.
right. So whatever thing is, we got even now we feel like nothing is yours, right? So that's how it is. Anyway, so karma yoga and knowledge reflect an order. In the previous verse, oh my God, only 4 minutes. In the previous verse, we saw that this person does not get carried away by the mind's fancies. Karma Yoga knowledge reflect an order. Okay. In the previous verse, we saw that this person does not get carried away by the mind's fancies, knowing them to be the sources of pain and sorrow. A person who is carried away by such fancies is one who is subject to karma, to his or her ragadveshas. Such a person cannot get happiness that a yogi can get. Thus, there is an order involved here, meaning that everyone has to become a karma yogi first. Okay, so this is the order. The order involved here, meaning that everyone has to become a karma yogi first. The knowledge will then take care of itself. And when does all this take place? In this life itself. Iha, iha, eva. As we saw in the 19th verse, and also at any time until death. So from here onwards, and then the until death, until one is released from the physical body. While living until death, the yogi who is yet to be a jnani must have this particular capacity, this mastery of kama and krodha. You cannot simply say, I have already mastered my kama and krodha, and then sit back and think they will not come back. They will come back. There is no such thing as one day I mastered them, therefore they will not come back. This is not a one day problem that one deals with for, for once. It is something that has to be dealt with every day until death, as Shankara makes it clear here. We have already seen that in terms of knowledge, liberation or moksha can happen at any time in one's life, even in old age. This then is another meaning for the expression for sarira vimokshanat, at any time. While living here in this world, in this physical body, this knowledge can be accomplished by a mature human being. So, this can be accomplished while living in this world, in this physical body. This knowledge can be accomplished by a mature human being. That's the order here. So, how Karma Yoga and knowledge reflect an order? The first order is the Karma Yoga, and then the knowledge happens. The force of Kama Krodha continues until death. The force of Kama and Krodha continues until death. In his commentary to this verse, Shankara emphasizes the until death, meaning to make it clear that the force Vega released by Kama and Krodha by one's Raga Dveshas operates throughout one's lifetime until death, just as the force of hunger and thirst does. For the living person, this Vega definitely takes place. It is not something that happens. Sorry, I meant to read that other thing, but let me read this again. One day and goes away the next. And what is its cause? The causes are endless. Shankara says, Ananta nimittavan he saha vegaha. Ananta nimittavan he saha vegaha. But what makes you angry? There are countless situations that can cause anger. Therefore, there is no end to the force, Vega, that is born of desire and anger. In certain situations, there will be no force, whereas in other situations, the Vega will be there in various degrees, and the Kama Krodha, from which this force comes, can be virulent indeed. I'll read this paragraph. I know 1 minute, probably we can read this one more time. I'll want to understand this clearly. The force of karma, krodha continues until death. It's not you just get mastery, but you have to deal with it all the time. So once you mastered it, you continue to master all the time, looks like. So the verse number 272 is this verse. Uh,
अंतकाले अपि ब्रह्म निर्वाणं रुच्छति. Gita 2.17.
that's a
Means
problem.
this Ragadvesha will go with our nirvana only. Means whatever.
Right.
Otherwise we have to only manage it,
Mm.
mastery over it. Whenever it comes, we have to just know it. Thank you.
Antakale api Brahma Nirvanam Richati. So, having attained it, one is no more deluded by abiding in that state, even by the time of death, one is united with Brahman. So, until that time, we have to be dealing with this force of Kama Krodha. So, in his commentary to this verse, Shankara emphasizes the until death, meaning to make it clear that the force Vega released by Kama and Krodha by one's Raga Dveshas operates throughout one's lifetime until death, just as the force of hunger and thirst does. And for the living person, the force one day goes away. I mean, what is this? Wait. It is not something that happens one day and then goes away the next. And what is its cause? The cause are endless. Shankara says, Ananta Vinimittavanhi Saha Vegaha. What makes you angry? There are countless situations that can cause anger. Therefore, there is no end to the force Vega that is born of desire and anger. In certain situations, there will be no force. Whereas in other situations, the Vega will be there in various degrees, and the Kama Krodha from which this force comes can be virulent indeed. So, this is already time. I went over 2-3 minutes. So we came up to this point. I think there are 2-3 pages more for this. You may have to repeat it, read it again from maybe this part. Want to say anything? Maybe we have to read completely before we do this Manana. They're talking about the force and then how the karma yoga knowledge, what order it happens, which we read that many times. Okay. So, biology, you have anything to say, or we can close?
Yeah, Dr. Mara. Tomorrow we can have very well explained also by you. We can have this reading and then we can have Manana one more time, right?
Hmm. Hmm. लोका समस्ता सुखिनो भवन्तु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरि ओं श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरि ओं ॐ तत्सत् श्री सर्वं श्रीकृष्णार्पणमस्तु.
Thank you, Dr. Mara.
Okay. You want to do the song?
Yeah, I will quickly say, though the time is up. एकमेव द्वितीयं ये ब्रह्मा निर्गुणं निश्चलं निर्विकारम् एकमेव द्वितीयं ये ब्रह्मा अत्र वेदान्तमेव प्रमाणम् बोधक सद्गुरु तत्त्वनिष्ठः ईश्वरानुगृहीतेन वेद्यम् एकमेव द्वितीयं ये ब्रह्म ज्ञानगम्यं तुरीयं हृदस्थम् आत्मरूपं हि तत् येन ज्ञातम् सोऽध्वनः पारमाप्नोति सत्यम् एकमेव द्वितीयं ये ब्रह्म ब्रह्मज्ञस्य तु ब्रह्मैव सर्वं नास्ति मोहो भयं नैव दुःखम् तस्य स्वानन्दमग्नं हि चित्तम् एकमेव द्वितीयं ये ब्रह्म निर्गुणं निश्चलं निर्विकारम् एकमेव द्वितीयं ये ब्रह्म ब्रह्मैव सत्यम्